Alright. Another recording started, which means we can now resume. While we're back here, we might as well keep on chugging along. Calculated Gambit. The 7-star selection. Walk around in Leeway Harbor. Well, I guess a little bit of a reminder, since I always forget to mention this sometimes when we start a new session, is this challenge is still more or less going to stay in effect. Deaths equal wishes, subs equal wishes, killing the stream boss, more wishes. I have exhausted my bag of M&Ms.
Traveler, Paimon, it's been a long time.
Who? Oh, that's right. We talked to you on Ganyu's, I believe? Yeah, we talked to you on Ganyu's character story quest.
Oh, hey, Hoishin. Long time no see. Fancy meeting you here. How's work these days?
Thanks to the help of people like you and colleagues like Ganyu, better all the time. But I've been feeling distracted at work lately. I just feel constantly agitated.
Has something happened?
It's a long story. But my father, he's thinking of stepping down from the Tianshu position due to health issues.
He's getting old.
Huh? What's wrong with Uncle Tian?
If you're watching this on YouTube later on, my mother's birthday will have passed by the time you guys see this. But for those here in the stream, my mother's birthday is coming up in a few days. I should do something for her. Call her up and remind her that she's getting old.
Nothing specifically. He's not unwell. He says he's just increasingly low on energy these days. He's always said, old age comes for us all in the end. Still, I just can't help but feel a little emotional watching it happen to him.
You know, in a society where there's people that are immortal, I'm surprised a saying like that exists still.
Anyway, my father's currently on the 2nd floor of Yangsheng Tea House. Why don't you come pay him a visit with me? He seems very fond of you, too. I'm sure chatting with you will make him very happy.
Sure, let's go.
Calculated Gambit. The tea house. That's over there. Yangsheng Tea House. Oh, I passed it already.
Come on.
Oh, there he is. Uncle John. Apparently he has a world quest as well.
Uncle Tian, we're here to chat with you.
Oh? What a lovely surprise. Welcome. Hoishi, why don't you go downstairs and get the shopkeeper to make us a fresh pot of tea?
Silently walks off.
I heard that you've been traveling all over the place recently. I would very much like to hear your adventure stories.
We're more concerned about your health, Uncle John.
Hoishin told you, didn't she? Don't worry. I'm quite all right. It's just the years gradually catching up with me.
I mean, the last time we met you, you sounded like a guy that was constantly out of energy anyway.
As I grow older, I'm starting to find that with many things, though the mind is willing, the flesh is weak. Especially recently, I've noticed a rather drastic drop in my energy levels. I am still very much in good standing as the Tianshu today. Nevertheless, I wish to pass on the position before my mental acuity begins to decline beyond redemption.
Man, imagine if there were leaders with that level of tact. Because I believe that we have a problem with modern day society, which is too many people that are in advanced age are currently running the show. Like, a large majority of the government here in the United States is like 65 plus. And it's getting kind of ridiculous. There's even world leaders like Putin that are probably also too old to be making decisions. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if half of what's going on in Ukraine could be summed up with the fact that a power-hungry idiot that's too old to know better doesn't exactly think rationally.
How difficult is it to transfer the Tianshu position?
Oh, well, you see, the Tianshu is a rather unique position among the Liu Qixing.
What exactly do you do again?
Historically speaking, the Tianshu rarely appears in public. We stay behind the scenes, planning and giving advice, so a public selection process would not be suitable. We also want to keep any prospective Tianshu candidates free from influence by outside forces, so we tend to be as discreet as possible in their assessment and appointment.
Then why the hell are you telling me any of this?
For these reasons, the incumbent Tianshu typically recommends their candidate of choice, and this is then approved by the other Qixing members.
So in other words, you pick someone, and then Lady Keqing, Lady Ningguang, and the other Qixing appoint them?
Correct. Unfortunately, due to my health, I won't be able to assess every candidate myself. Not to despair, however, because I found someone exceptionally capable to act on my behalf as assessment officer. In fact, I believe you recently became acquainted with her yourself.
Oh? Who is it?
I'm heartbroken. I thought it might take you a little longer than this to forget all about me.
It's Yelan!
Jackpot. Uncle Tian here asked me to assess 3 candidates for him. Fancy joining me? You'll be among the first to get to know the next Tianshu. Might be a good opportunity for you.
Again? Why the fuck am I here? This seems like a private thing that I shouldn't be around. It's like it'd be like I don't know, if we invited some random foreign ambassador to say, "Hey, would you like to sit in to decide who gets elected to be the next head of the CIA?" Like, why am I here?
What do you think?
Good opportunity. I'm not really interested. It's a good opportunity.
Paimon thinks so too. It can't be a bad thing to be on good terms with a new Qixing, right?
Alright then. Though, I gotta say, Uncle Tian, you say you're into behind-the-scenes planning? My work's of the covert variety too. Don't you think I might make a good Tianshu?
I was thinking that that's where this conversation was leading, to be honest. I thought that they were setting up her to take on his position. I thought that's where this was leading as well. But no, you to just pick the next one.
Huh? Yelan, you want to be the next Tianshu?
I'm not opposed to the idea, but I suspect Ningguang wouldn't let you go very easily after how long you've been working together. So, how about this? If your investigation reveals that none of the other candidates are qualified for the position, I'll recommend you for the job.
Okay, so he wasn't against the idea. She is very qualified for it.
Deal. Well, you guys take your time. Everything's all set for the assessments to go ahead. Meet me on the first floor when you're ready. Until then, have a pleasant conversation. Oh, and no need to pay for your tea. As the new owner of this fine establishment, this runs on the house.
Oh, you bought this tea house? Cool. I guess.
You're all set?
Uncle Tian seems really worn down. It's like all his energy's gone.
Yeah, it may sound harsh, but Uncle Tian is past his prime. He's not cut out for this anymore. So he's recommended 3 candidates. Their names are Qinwei, Mingbo, and Zhi.
Jury?
Qinwei is a wealthy entrepreneur. Mingbo works at the Liyue Ministry of Civil Affairs, and Zhi is focused on study and travel. Try to keep all that in mind. Of course, it doesn't really matter if you forget, since we'll be assessing them at Yuehai Pavilion in a short while.
Qianwei, Mingbo, Zhi. Paimon should be able to remember their names, but what does the assessment involve exactly?
That is a good question, Paimon.
Let's leave that until we get to Yuehai Pavilion. All right. Heads in the game, people. The stakes don't get much higher than a change in the Qixing. We can't afford to miss anything, no matter how small.
Got it. We'll keep our eyes wide open.
Okay, I'm getting concerned with all these cutscene volumes, so it's been a while, so I feel like I'm going to cut the audio again.
Paimon coming in! Paimon coming in! Is this level okay? Can you hear Paimon?
I can't believe that that's still almost peaking. At how low I have the volume. Anywho, you should primarily be hearing able. You should be primarily listening to me over the game anyway, but it's still nice to be able to hear every now and then. But hey, that means I can turn my voice down a little bit, since I've cut the volume as well. I'm going where now? Oh yeah, Yuehai Pavilion. Oh look, it's my old friend. The Wangsheng Funeral Parlor Cat Lady. She's still there. Looking at this cat. I believe we've seen enough of her. Look at all these blue exclamation points still. Let's take a shortcut.
My legs are getting sore. What is wrong with this assessment officer? This is a huge occasion and I don't even get a chair. I've dealt with all kinds of people in my time, but never have I been made to stand while I'm waiting for an appointment.
Oh, I mean, I think it's fine.
That's called being complacent. If you're happy to just accept the way things are, you'll never be able to change anything in the future.
Oh, come on. That's just... Now you're just being unreasonable.
I'm curious to why Uncle John chose these 3.
All right, you two. Let's not get into a big argument over this. It's not worth it. Qianwei, that was a bit uncalled for. And Mingbo, cut him some slack. We've all been standing around for a while. It's natural to be getting irritable. Look, how about this? There's no rule saying we're obliged to stand up while we wait, so why don't we borrow some chairs from the guild nearby?
Fine. They're not the best quality chairs, to be sure. But under the circumstances, it would be better than nothing.
It looks like all 3 candidates have arrived.
Oh, it was those 3.
Mm-hmm. We'll meet them formally soon. Before that, let me run you through the assessment process. I've split it into 2 stages: current affairs and planning, and face-to-face interview. In the first stage, candidates are required to submit a manifesto for Liyue's development. In the second stage, we will ask them some questions in person. Writing a manifesto takes time, so I informed them of this requirement in advance. These are the reports they submitted.
I'm not reading all of that.
Wow. One of them is really thick.
They're all really thick, Paimon. One of them is just absurd.
It's also worth mentioning a stipulation I gave them. Whoever is appointed as the new Tianshu will be expected to implement their plan as put forward in their manifesto. Failing the occurrence of some cataclysmic event, they will not be permitted to change their plan. Therefore, these 3 piles of documents in front of us represent where each candidate stands on key policy issues.
Well,
There's still some time. Have a skim through, get a first impression of what each person's proposing. I'll be waiting off to the side. Just let me know when you're done.
well, let's read the fucking big one first then. Get it out of the way early. Oh, it's Jihee's manifesto. Jihee's manifesto covers domestic affairs, foreign affairs, checks and balances in all great detail. The focus seems to be problem solving. It provides concise and clear solutions to various problems. It's so thick that you only have time to skim through it roughly. John Way's manifesto addresses many commercial issues and provides some very penetrating analyses. That was my internet provider telling me that the power outage is over and that they'll be putting up my internet soon. Any second now. I think my internet's working. Imagine if you could play Genshin in offline mode, though. Imagine. Where was I? Addresses commercial issues, provides some very penetrating analysis. His view seems to be that regulations and incentive are both indispensable. I got nothing against that. Look at Mingbo. Mingbo's manifesto covers domestic affairs quite comprehensively, focusing on the people's livelihoods. The core principle seems to be the greater good means that the world works for everyone. So, yeah. Okay.
Finished, huh? What did you think?
Everyone took it very seriously.
I mean, yeah, look at them. They're like stacks of paper there.
Of course they did. They have the chance to be picked as the new Tianshu, so you can bet they're putting their best foot forward.
Dude, each one of those looks like it's a fucking book. And then one of them looks like a fucking dictionary.
And keep in mind, whoever gets in has to execute their plan as written. Nobody wants to have any regrets.
What did you think? I'm guessing you didn't read any of them.
That's for me to know and you to find out. We can talk more after the interviews.
I am more convinced now that she has not read any of these.
We'll see the candidates now. Let's do one at a time. Start with Chenwei.
Yes, ma'am.
That was Mr. Impatient, right?
Oh? So you two are the assessment officers, are you? I had assumed that given the great import of this situation, Lady Ningguang would perhaps be assessing us in person. I certainly hadn't imagined I'd be seeing 2 entirely unfamiliar faces. I trust you've read through my manifesto? I'd be more than happy to clarify any details you found difficult to grasp. It was written with an expert audience in mind, after all.
Mind your tone, mister.
Relax. It wasn't intended as a personal slight against anyone in particular. I was simply stating a fact.
Did you learn them from Cloud Retainer? Why would I ask that?
Cloud Retainer? You know this Adeptus? Oh, yes, I remember now. You must be the traveler that people are constantly talking about. With your sterling reputation, you must have a respectable level of erudition. Perhaps you will be able to understand the concepts I have put forward. Although I shouldn't get my hopes up.
Some questions, you tell him to fetch Mingbo.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yes. Please introduce yourself.
I'm really curious who they're going to go with at the end, but I'm, at the same time, I have a feeling it's going to just end up with Yelan gaining the position.
I'm, Mingbo. I work in the Ministry of Civil Affairs. I've worked there for, 9 years, 5 months, and 3 days. In that time, I've handled, 2,347 cases.
How long have I worked at my recent job? I've worked there for 1 year. Four months and 10 days? That was actually surprisingly easier to calculate in my head than I thought it would be. I mean, I guess if you remember your hire date, it's pretty easy to calculate. As for the number of cases, yeah, screw that. I could never tell you how many people that I've served. I'm like the one person at my job that likes to count how many people come through every day, but I don't, like, compile that data.
I have 12 active cases at the moment. They should be concluded in, 16 days?
Wow.
My current work is related to urban planning, and I'm also responsible for, auditing the accounts. To be more precise, there are 3 parts to the accounts, namely...
Is it just Paimon, or is he not very good at public speaking?
You know what? Let's leave the self-introduction there and move on to some questions.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I like this guy. The third guy I like the best, but I have a feeling that there's going to be some big twist to why he's not qualified.
Hello. Not gonna lie, I'm feeling a little nervous.
So far, I'm the one that you're the fucking front runner, so I'm not sure why you would be.
What would you like to know? You're here to assess me, so ask away and I'll answer your questions to the best of my ability.
Your manifesto is very wide in its scope, but you don't seem to be personally involved in many of the specific fields. How can you be sure that you have the ability to put your plan into action?
I wouldn't say that was blunt. That's a very actual good question. But I have the same answer that I hope he gives, which is that it's better to leave certain issues in the field of their own experts, rather than try to do everything yourself.
Very fair question. I completely understand where you're coming from. But I'm confident in my plan. I've visited many different places, talked to lots of people with far more expertise than myself, and my manifesto is the conclusion of these efforts. Of course, 2 different problems can be interconnected in very complicated ways, and you might reach 2 very contradictory conclusions depending on which one you're focusing on. What I've tried to do is strike a balance. In other words, present an optimal solution to all the problems as a whole.
How do you plan to determine whether you are right or wrong about your proposed solution being the optimal one?
A great question. Well, I'd start by having my colleagues and the secretaries of the Yuehai Pavilion evaluate any proposals before implementation. Post-implementation, it would all come down to the results. If it turned out that my judgment was to blame for poor results, I would take responsibility.
Wow, that's commitment.
Nice answer. All right, next question.
All right.
He seems like a great guy. Everything he said was thoughtful and logical, and he was just a pleasure to listen to.
I agree. Meh.
Here's my take on what we just learned. As you saw, Qianwei is highly knowledgeable. He proposes many excellent ideas in his manifesto which effectively target the big issues. But he is very proud and incredibly stubborn. He doesn't care much about other people's feelings. Mingbo's plan is more thorough and more measured. You can tell he's meticulous in his work, very detail-oriented.
Yeah, you can tell that he wants to get stuff done and doesn't care how long it takes. Like 12 cases in 16 days? That's accounting for days off. That's basically a case a day.
But he and Shenwei are otherwise polar opposites. Mingbo is not very articulate and comes across as very timid in conversation.
Perfect summary. Paimon couldn't agree more. You're good at this, Yelan.
Last but not least, Jur-E. His manifesto is full of pertinent details, his methodology is sound, and his proposals cover a broad range of fields, which is quite a rare feat. The depth he goes into in each and every area means it can only be a product of painstaking work. Plus, he is modest and good at dealing with people. But what really interests me is that many of his views happen to coincide with Uncle Tien's. Having someone like Jur-E take the position would certainly put Uncle Tien's mind at rest.
Great!
We'll see. Let's go back and report to Uncle Tien.
Alright. Cool. Where is he, though? Oh, is he still at that fucking tea house? Does that guy leave? This is a good place to get silk flowers for people who don't know that. For those of you who actually do stuff in the teapot. Yeah. They really need to stop meeting like this, Wangsheng Funeral Parlor Cat Lady. Until we meet again. Alright.
I see. Then it's more or less as I anticipated.
All right, then let me ask this. The ideas in Jur-E's manifesto are very similar to your own. Is there any particular reason behind this?
Oh, I didn't want to say anything when I gave you the list of candidates, for fear of affecting your judgment. But I can tell you now. Those 3 candidates have all studied under me in the past. It's only natural that they share some similarities with me.
Makes sense.
But Shenwei went on to focus on his business, and Mingbo has always been occupied with his work at the Ministry of Civil Affairs. Of all of them, Jur-E was with me for the longest duration.
Whoa! So how did you get to know them all, Uncle Tien?
Shenwei was referred to me by an old friend. Mingbo came to my attention in the course of my work, and as for Jur-E, that was pure happenstance.
But he stuck with you the longest.
We first met while fishing. Gradually, as we got to know each other, we started discussing all sorts of topics.
He does seem like the type that talks to everybody.
Jur-E came from a poor family, and his parents died when he was very young. But he was a gifted student and a fast learner. He reminded me of a younger version of myself, so I started out giving him a few words of advice when we were out fishing and noticed how quickly he got on.
Sounds like he's a friend to you. Sounds like he's family to you.
Quite. And now, all of a sudden, he's grown into a mature young man. It's a joy to see, but it also gets one thinking. The young are growing up, and I am growing old. How time flies. No one can escape the cycle of life.
I don't know, Uncle Tien. You still seem in pretty good shape to me. You might have another few years of work left in you, don't you think?
Oh, you. There's really no need to console me. Having less energy than I used to isn't such a bad thing. It just means I finally have a good reason to retire and spend my days doing what old men like me should be doing. Going fishing whenever I feel like it.
If it were up to me, I would dissolve his position and just hire all three. Divide up the work.
Sounds like you sure love fishing, Uncle Tien.
Ooh, there's nothing quite like fishing to pass the time. Ooh, and freshly caught fish, they make the most beautiful fish soup with barely any preparation required.
Fresh fish soup. Sounds tasty.
I think we have a recipe for that. I think it's the one that Albedo gave us.
Doesn't it? Also, some time ago, Juri purchased a very special recipe from an old fisherman. When we've been fishing recently, Juri always brings some extra ingredients he prepared in advance. The addition of these makes the soup taste even more wonderful. That flavor makes for a fond memory. But at my age, who knows how many more chances I have left to taste it again.
Very many chances, I'm sure.
Ooh, can Paimon come next time too? Paimon really wants to try it.
Of course you do.
Let's get back to the matter at hand. Uncle Tien, we've reported back. Do you have a verdict?
I appointed you as the assessment officer, and I trust your judgment. Had you not asked me why Juri's ideas were so similar to mine, I was not going to mention my history with any of them. This decision must be guided by what is fair and right. Please disregard all other considerations and make your final decision only after a thorough review of each candidate's talents and capabilities. Remember, you must be thorough.
It's kind of weird, though, because he basically, he went through the effort of getting Yelan to do this, because he doesn't have the capability to do it himself, but at the same time, it helps remove his personal bias out of the equation. But then at the same time, it might be a test for Yelan, because he also added on the thing at the end that he'll recommend the position to her if none of them are qualified, which makes it so that she might have her own bias. So it's very weird and very strange to me.
Understood. Come on, let's go talk somewhere else.
Bye-bye, Uncle Tien. Look after yourself.
And again, why the fuck are we even participating in this?
Juri, right? His manifesto was written well, and he's the best speaker.
Easy. Let's not rush. There's no time limit for this assessment.
Oh god.
Huh? So, are you gonna give them more tests or something?
Why not?
No, nothing like that. The assessment itself is complete. But let me give you a word of advice. Things are not always as they appear.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for.
The biggest no-no in intelligence work is to only get information from the person of interest themselves. The truth is almost always hidden beneath many layers of deception. You have to get information through many different channels.
You gotta vet your sources.
For example, Wenyuan, Shanghua.
Yes?
Lady Yelan, what are your orders?
Ugh! Who are they? Where did they come from?
The shadows.
Did they scare you? These two are Wenyuan and Shanghua. They work for me. As my trusted assistants, they are always standing guard nearby. They also perform various assignments as required.
I just realized that the compass in the last quest for the Perilous Trail, that symbol that they're wearing on their backs, which I'm assuming is her family crest or whatever, that was on the weird portal doorway we kept going through. I thought it was the weird 4-flower or 4-petal symbol that you see on all the Fatui, but no, it was this symbol, which kind of reminds me of the World Government logo from One Piece.
Shanghua is a business expert who gets his information by trading. Wenyuan relies on word of mouth. And there's also Upei, who's not here right now.
That meathead must have been out there on sea surveillance for some time now. Is he all right? I seem to remember that he can't swim.
Nothing can take that guy down. Certainly not a little wind and waves.
Shenghua, visit all the commerce guilds and look into Qianwei's background. Wenyuan, go to the Ministry of Civil Affairs and look through Mingbo's work files.
Yes, ma'am.
So what about Juri?
We're gonna go through that because her third assistant is not here.
Juri, well, obviously as the most promising candidate, we will be investigating him ourselves. Let's go to the docks first. Lots of people passing through there. You can find out all kinds of things.
If we're looking for information, why don't we try talking to Bulai, the owner of Wanyu Boutique?
Oh, I love Bolai. He's great.
He does business at the North Wharf. Maybe he has some news for us.
That's actually not a bad idea. Let's go and ask him.
Man, whoever ends up being the VA for Bolai, that guy's got his work cut out for him. Candidature Analysis. Who would have guessed that such a weird NPC that you talk to once on your first entrance into Liyue would be so important to so many quest lines? Oh, there he is. He's right there.
Huh? What?
Look, your asking price for this batch is just too high. I can't buy in at this price. How am I supposed to turn a profit?
Come on, hear me out. I'm telling you, this is the single best batch of Sunsetias ever. You won't find anyone who disputes that. I accidentally dropped one into a well, and even the water turned sweet.
Even so...
All right. I'll let you in on a little secret. The boss of Second Life also wants to buy from me, but I haven't responded yet. If you won't take him, I'll just have to partner with them instead. And neither of us wants that.
Oh my god, they're gonna pin Second Life and this fucking boutique against each other again.
Okay, well, when you put it that way, I'll accept your asking price. I'll take all your stock. Don't sell a single one to Second Life.
Man, this guy's feud with Second Life is next to none. I'm really glad we have already done the Ganyu questline, because if we didn't, this would have been like a very weird interaction. I wonder if Yelan's is actually locked behind doing
Oh, what are you doing
Ganyus.
And to be clear, these Sunsetias are mine. I got to them first. Don't get any ideas.
I've got more than enough in my bag.
Actually, we want to ask you about a guy called Juri. Have you heard of him before?
Juri? Yes, he's quite well known. I've heard a story about him. They say he was born into poverty. His parents died when he was young, and he was treated cruelly by the local community. One of his neighbors was terribly rude to him all the time, but Juri never retaliated. And when his neighbor went bankrupt, he even helped support the family.
Damn!
He returned cruelty with kindness, injustice with peace offerings. A gentleman of talent and character, and... oh, how did I not notice him sooner? In fact, maybe I'm not too late. If I could hire him to be the brand ambassador for Wanyu Boutique.
Oh, he sounds like a decent man. We can finally breathe a sigh of relief.
We want to get double-check the sources. Bolai is not the most honest man.
Why are you asking about him anyway? You aren't looking for a brand ambassador too, are you? Well then, in that case, the higher bidder takes the... Ah, that's Juri right over there. Why don't we go and talk to him?
Where?
It's him, all right. Looks like he's chatting with Linlong. Come on, let's follow them and listen in. Try not to let him see you. We want this information to be as truthful as possible.
I should have known that we were going to be with Yelan that we'd probably have some mandatory stealth segments.
I'll just go and fetch an employment contract. And hey, don't try and cut me out of this. Hey!
Poor Bolai.
I understand. Let's walk and talk.
Nothing to see here. Just a man crouching and crawling in public.
So, you were looking to buy a wineware set? Oh, now I can see that you're a connoisseur, so I won't bother trying to con you. I trust you understand our shop quite well?
The truth is, an old friend of mine, who likes to have a drink now and then, he fancies himself as a man of culture, but doesn't care for needless extravagance. So I thought I might buy him a set of high-quality fakes.
How very thoughtful of you. Leave it to me, then. Come and collect it at Shigu Antiques whenever is convenient.
That's a funny way to
Thank you
call an
very much,
antique.
Miss Linlong.
It's my pleasure, Mr. Juri. These days, it's quite rare for someone of your standing to still keep up with their old friends. It's nice to see. I'll be sure to pick out a good set for you. You can count on me.
I think this game is too sensitive for stealth. I could realistically get a lot closer to this guy without him noticing me.
Juri seems to get along really well with everyone. Are you satisfied now, Yelan? Seems like everyone thinks Juri's a great guy.
Let's see what he does with his free time, though.
We shouldn't jump to conclusions just yet. Let's go check out the wharf where he usually goes fishing.
Do we have to?
We could do some fishing, too.
Wait, you're not just trying to dig up some dirt on Juri because you want to be Tianshu yourself, are you?
Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. But hey, if I do become Tianshu, I'll look out for you guys. You'll be able to try all the finest food for free. How does that sound?
Don't bribe Paimon.
We will? Well, come on! Off to the South Wharf we go!
I've been outvoted. He was clearly going the other way. I don't know why we're going to the South Wharf. Oh, I remember these two. Oh, I can't talk to them. Okay. That's the guy that she said she was waiting for when I first met him and her in Leeway, I think. Yeah.
The wharf is as busy as ever. I hear the anglers here sometimes sell their fish to the nearby fishmongers.
Let's go talk to
Let's
that.
see what Uncle Soon has to say.
That's the guy that was mean to us, right? No, that's Uncle Gao. Okay, Uncle Soon.
Welcome. What would you like to buy today?
We're here to ask you about someone.
Sorry to interrupt. We're actually members of the, Liyue Anglers Association, and we just wanted to ask a few questions about someone. We've heard about this young man called Juri, who's supposed to be a fantastic fisherman. Just wondering if you happen to have heard of him?
Whoa! Yelan made up a whole fake identity without batting an eyelid.
I don't know, there was some stutter to that performance. She definitely batted an eyelid.
Ah, yes, Juri. He's been making quite a name for himself recently. I've got some friends who travel all over the place, and they tell me everywhere they go they meet someone who's heard of him.
Quite the popular guy.
Apparently, he had a rather tough time growing up. Had to work several jobs alongside his studies to make ends meet. How does that saying go? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Well, if there's anything to that logic, he's sure to be phenomenally successful one day.
Yeah, we think so too.
but I'm afraid your Anglers Association might be in for a disappointment.
Oh? Why's that?
He's good at a lot of things, but fishing isn't one of them. He fishes at the wharf and sells what he catches to me on occasion. His catches are always mediocre. Not terrible, but equally nothing to write home about. If you're looking to recruit some new members, though, I do know a few top anglers I could put you in touch with.
That sounds fantastic. I've got a couple of other things to attend to right now, though, so why don't I come back some other time and we can chat over a drink?
Sure thing. See you.
Everywhere they go, they meet someone who's heard of him.
That is fishy.
Come on, let's keep asking around.
God damn it, I made a pun. That is suspicious. Sus. Sus. Baka. Baka. Sus.
Here to buy some fish? It's 300 for one or 3 for 1,000.
That's a pretty good deal. I'll take
You
them all.
better hurry. When they're gone, they're gone.
Hello, we're from the Society for Fish Price Research. We'd just like to ask a few questions.
Oh my god. If you're gonna lie through your teeth, at least, just be, I don't know.
Wow, she switched identity again!
Society for Fish Price Research? I haven't done anything illegal. Stay out of my business.
Please, don't worry. We're just here to conduct a simple survey. We've heard about a certain Jur-E who's been selling fresh fish at low prices in this area recently. Do you know anything about this?
So this isn't about me. You should have said something, you know. I know the guy. I can tell you what I know. I haven't heard anything about him selling fresh fish at low prices, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was him.
Oh? Why is that?
Because he's so poor. His parents died when he was very young, and his alcoholic father still owed a huge amount of debt. No one wanted anything to do with him. He was still a kid when he first came to the wharf. His clothes were ragged, and he had a bandage wrapped around his head. And he managed to survive, thanks to Uncle Tien, who gave him some food. But still to this day, he doesn't have a lot of mora to his name. I mean, he can afford to eat and everything, but you'll often see him haggling with others over just a few mora. So, I wouldn't be surprised to find out he's been selling a few fish. It's not like he catches much anyway, so it's not going to affect my business. Don't tell him I said that.
You'd
Don't
rather he
tell him.
didn't know?
Well, I spoke to him once, briefly, and I just had a feeling that he really cares what other people think of him. I think he has pretty low self-esteem, but hey, it's hardly my place to say anything. What he's achieved already puts most people to shame.
He might be trying to fabricate a persona. Is that what we're going for?
And nobody's perfect. I just wouldn't want to upset him. That's all.
I see. Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Not a problem. And just for the record, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the price of my fish.
The more times you say it, the less convincing it becomes.
Doesn't have a lot of mora to his name. Okay, let's keep going.
But he was buying antiques and knockoffs earlier. This guy is definitely fishy. That being said, even if this guy isn't perfect, I would still go with Mingbo.
Hey, it's you guys! Wait, what's the phrase? Oh yeah. Honored to meet you.
Do I know this kid?
What brings you to me?
The truth is, we are but newcomers to this territory. We heard tell of a great martial artist, Master Dugu, who knows everything there is to know. Hence, we sought you out to ask for your guidance.
Paimon, say the thing.
Really? People said I know everything there is to know?
Oh, I just remembered now. There's like a martial artist scammer somewhere around here that tricked those two guys into being multiple subscriptioners into his dumb plan that got their fucking nose broken in that fighting tournament. I hope those two guys are okay.
But of course, we also heard that Master Dugu is a kind and virtuous swordsman who never turns away anyone who comes with questions.
Great! So what do you wish to know?
Jumping
Nothing happens
kids.
on this street that I don't know about.
Now she's lying to a kid.
But it seems to have made his day.
So, Master Dugu, have you heard of one by the name of Jur-E?
Sure have. You mean that guy that all the grown-ups are talking about these days? I've heard many tales of Juri. For example, I can't remember. Probably 'cause it's nothing that important. I prefer stories about sword-fighting heroes.
Oh, I can completely understand that. Then let me ask you this. Do you remember roughly when the grown-ups started talking about Jur-E?
Oh yeah, I know that. It was about 2 or 3 months ago. Before that, people always used to talk about Juri in a kind of nasty tone of voice. But 2 or 3 months ago, suddenly everyone started to like him.
I wonder what happens 2 to 3 months ago then.
Sometimes he gives me candies, so I'm glad that people are starting to like him now.
Just as I thought.
Huh? What do you mean?
I mean, just as I thought, Master Dugu is indeed as kind and virtuous as the legends claim.
I am now concerned. This guy's definitely fabricating his image.
Oh yeah, one other thing. These days, there's a lot of people I've never seen before talking about Juri stories in the street. They seem like nice people.
Oh, definitely.
Great, so next time I see them, I'll say hi. And I guess I can share some of my candies with them too.
You don't have to do that.
Certainly. You can also tell my friend in Yenshang Tea House about what they're up to. I'm sure my friend would also like to say hi to them.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Well then, fare thee well, Master Dugu.
This kid's gonna be destined for great things, I tell you. Great things.
Until we meet again.
Any of that sound strange to you?
Yeah, I heard it.
Strange? What was strange about it? Juri seems to have a great reputation. Uncle Soon and Uncle Gao spoke highly of him, and Dugu Shuo seems to like him too.
I'm starting to feel more and more that this might have been a very elaborate test by Uncle Chan to get Yelan for the position now.
True. But the issue is, where did his sudden celebrity come from? It almost seems too good to be true.
Well, Uncle Chan said he's been doing studies, so maybe he finished, I don't know, research or school?
Sudden? Too good to be true? What do you mean?
So he returns cruelty with kindness, and had to work to support his studies. These are the kinds of things that make someone well known in their hometown. But Uncle Soon said even his friends who travel far and wide hear about him wherever they go. That's a little over the top, if you ask me. Do you remember what Dugu Shuo said about Jur-E's stories? Clearly they left him with a good impression of the guy. But beyond that, he wasn't interested in the details. That's the reaction I would expect from any normal person. Plus, there's the fact that all this praise of Jur-E has only been happening within the last 2 or 3 months. His childhood, his studies, the thing with his neighbor. None of these are recent events. So why are these stories only going around now?
They're fabrications. Or, gossip. I don't really understand how gossip gets around. It's really... there's probably a good sociology element or study that you could probably look into to why certain rumors spread so rapidly, but you never know when the next thing's gonna go viral.
When you put it like that, it is kinda strange.
Cat. Look at that cat. It's stuck. It's stuck. Okay, it's sitting.
Of course, if that's all there was to it, I wouldn't look into it any further. Jur-E was born into a poor family. Paying people to get his stories out there is within the rules of the game as far as I'm concerned. The problem is, do you remember what Uncle Gao said about him? He's stayed poor his whole life. Everything he's earned he's either spent on studying, traveling, or paying off debts. I don't think he has the mora to pay for a publicity campaign.
Someone's helping him.
Right. And that changes everything. It can mean a powerful faction is trying to gain influence over the Liu at Xixing.
Okay, so that's the angle we're going for.
That's the worst case scenario. But all too often, the most pessimistic speculation turns out to be closest to the truth.
Someone's trying to gain influence over the Qixing? That sounds serious. What should we do? Even if we asked Jiri about it, surely there's no way he'd admit it.
First, we need to find out who's supporting him. Don't worry, I've got a plan.
It's the kid. He mentioned the weird people that are walking around town spreading his stories.
Remember the current affairs and planning stage of the assessment? Since the successful candidate is duty-bound to implement their plan after taking office, their manifesto tells us their stance on key issues. Whoever is secretly helping Jir-E must be seeking to benefit from his actions after his appointment. So, we should be able to find some hints in Jir-E's manifesto on who we're dealing with. Come on, let's get back to Yenshang Tea House.
All right. Makes sense to me.
Hey, who's that skulking around?
My reputation has not improved. I wonder what my reputation is in Sumeru. I don't think I've done the missions to do that yet. Ah, there's the tea house. Got it. Wait, he's not here anymore.
Jir-E's manifesto covers a huge range of topics. Looking for details that don't add up will be like trying to find a needle in a haystack.
No, it's gonna be like trying to find a definition in the dictionary, but you don't know what word you're supposed to be looking for because you should have gotten a thesaurus.
I'll divide the reports into 2 piles. You take one, I'll take the other. When we're finished, we'll put our heads together.
Hit my hand on my drawer.
Officially, the assessment is already over, and I'll be expected to announce the results before long. So we have to get to the bottom of this as quickly as we can.
Yikes! We better hurry!
Whatever else Uncle Tian might think of Jir-E, the fact remains that he's one of his favorite students. Any evidence he's left is not going to be immediately obvious. We'll have to look carefully and think critically.
Alright. Time to get reading.
Even though Yelan took half, this is still a lot to get through. Well, we gotta start somewhere.
Read Chapter C, Rock Roads. Running out of water. Due to a variety of factors, the sea storms have become stronger in recent years. I suggest we set up a special patrol unit to deal with sea monsters. The fleet should consist of the following. Covers various issues related to coastal defense. Rock. Much of Leeway's folklore suggests that Rex Lepus left a great deal of wealth in the mountain of Leeway. However, due to the obstacles hindering the excavation operation at the chasm, many projects have been called off. The workers of the Blackcliff Forge have been idle near the Golden House for a long time. Now they should be given first refusal if any suitable projects arise. Mining, tunnel construction, and ruin exploration. Roads. The treacherous terrain around the Huanggang Stone Forest and the Qingyun Peak means the area has the weakest transport links. The sheer mountain peaks are connected only by rope bridges. They are dangerous to walk and wholly unsuited to the transportation of goods. These areas are rich in medicinal herbs. Ore deposits, building a road network around these mountains would be beneficial for everyone. Covers plans to build roads and bridges. Stop reading.
Oh, this reading is giving Paimon a headache.
Well, the C one, Okay, so basically from what we're reading here, there's a few people. So that one mining group, I think it was like Blackcliff Forge, they could be supporting him. The Millilith could be supporting him to just increase funding for more patrols. And then somebody who benefits from those trade routes being expanded upon, which narrows it down almost not at fucking all.
Let's take a break.
A lot of people benefit from this guy's plans. Could be all of them, too. All of them could be in on it.
Looks like I'm the first one back, as usual.
The cat.
Oh, hey! It's one of Yelan's little helpers, Shenhua!
I just realized that the logo not only looks like a fucking world government logo, but it's literally a die. It's a 5 on a die side.
If you're back, that means you finished investigating Tianwei, right?
You betcha. I visited all the commerce guilds and gathered a wealth of information. Every time they asked me to leave, but I always had another trick up my sleeve.
Don't drag this out. Just tell us your findings.
Yes, Lady Yelan. To summarize my findings, most people who've had interactions with Tianwei will start out complaining about how proud and arrogant he is, but then go on to give a generally positive appraisal of him. The young master of the Feiyun Commerce Guild said that Tianwei appears arrogant, but he's very scrupulous in the way he works.
He's also an asshole.
Once he signs a contract with somebody, he treats them fairly regardless of their background.
Who'd have thought?
Is it possible that his reputation is fake? Is there any way you can check the accounts of the businesses under his name?
In theory, that should be very difficult. But here's the thing. I asked around and found out that almost all of Tianwei's accounts are open to the public. Where he buys from and sells to should be confidential business information, but he doesn't seem interested in protecting it at all.
Ah, I can respect that. That's pretty nice. That's called transparency. And that's really good to have in a politician, but very bad to have in somebody who's supposed to be managing covert affairs.
Tianwei often sees business opportunities that others don't, but once he's made enough mora off of it, it's like he gets sick of it and releases all of his trade secrets. It's like he wants people to know that they still can't beat him, even if he shares all of his secrets. The fact that someone like that can still make mora is pretty infuriating when you think about it.
What a strange guy. It's like he's not doing business to make mora, but instead...
to validate his theories. No wonder his manifesto contains so many insights. It's all the result of his first-hand experimentation.
I'm back! Huh? How come you're here?
Why do you think? Obviously, because I possess superior skills, and am always one step ahead of the competition. Well, when you're the competition, at least.
Huh. Now that's competition for you guys.
You... Whatever. I'm not getting into an argument with you. If I hadn't had something else to take care of on the way, I would have been back long before you. Lady Yelan, I have finished investigating Mingbois.
Well, we're all ears.
He's boring.
The Ministry of Civil Affairs says that Mingbois struggles to get his words out when he gets nervous, especially when he's chatting with strangers. But after a few days of getting to know him, you can pretty much have a normal conversation with him. On the whole, the feedback from the Ministry of Civil Affairs was very positive. He always considers the things that everyone else overlooks.
That was my first pick candidate besides the Zheng He guy, but they're setting up the Zheng He guy to be bad because he's the perfect candidate. Which is why I like this guy.
In your opinion, was the Ministry of Civil Affairs' appraisal of Mingbois at all exaggerated?
I don't believe so. Mingbois is someone who has slowly but surely earned the reputation he has today. According to Miss Yu, the ministry often gets Mingbois to take a final look at projects before they're implemented. People feel much more confident in something if it has his stamp of approval. Oh, and also, there was once someone in the ministry who was lying and cheating to try to advance their career. Mingbois gave them the scolding of a lifetime.
Really?
Apparently, he can be terrifying when he loses his temper. I haven't seen it for myself, though.
I would have never guessed.
Whoa, that's hard to imagine.
Very hard to imagine. The guy seems like a big softie. Like, if I were to look up softie in the dictionary, I'd expect a picture of that guy.
Like I said before, things are not always as they appear.
I thought he'd be a doormat.
Ah, so that's what you meant by that. Paimon's starting to get it now.
Thank you both. You're free to go now.
So far, they are still valid candidates.
So, have you finished reading the manifesto?
Yeah, it doesn't help.
We still have a bit left.
I can't see any immediate problems looking at the individual entries. The only one that strikes me as a little unusual is the Cheongshu Pool redevelopment plan.
What is that?
Cheongshu Pool has always been home to many secrets. Plus, Ajdaha once wrought havoc there, so there are even more secrets buried deep underground.
Oh, we killed that guy.
At some point, a rumor began to go around that there is great treasure buried beneath Cheongshu Pool. A long time ago, with the approval of the Qixing, a mining team conducted an exploratory excavation there.
So, did they find any treasure?
None. The ruin was completely impenetrable. The only way they could have gotten through the solid rock would have been by blowing it open with a special kind of explosive. The technology wasn't mature enough at that time, so the excavation project was shut down and the treasure became a mere legend. Jur-E's manifesto focuses on solving problems, and this treasure hunt seems extremely risky. It seems out of step with the rest of his plans.
Interesting.
Still, this one fact alone doesn't tell us much. Everyone wants to get their hands on this treasure. The treasure hoarders, the Fatui, even local Liyue factions. Did you find anything?
Excavation? Project? Treasure? Did we read anything similar in our half of the manifesto?
The Black Cliff Forge. We're supposed to get priority on any excavations, tunnel work, or etc.
Oh yeah! Jur-E said the Black Cliff Forge workers should get right of first refusal if any suitable projects come up.
Did he now? Well, that makes everything much clearer. So Jur-E wants the Black Cliff Forge to excavate the treasure of Cheongshu Pool.
Does that mean the Black Cliff Forge is Jur-E's secret supporter?
Possibly.
No, not likely. I've looked into the Black Cliff Forge before. They aren't involved with any powerful factions at present. They do possess some specialized explosives, but it would seem more trouble than it's worth to put so many resources into a risky project like this.
Then why?
Still, since the clues are pointing toward the Black Cliff Forge, we should see where they lead. We may well find something new.
We did a commission for that guy
Qianwei
before.
and Mingbo both turned out to be completely different than what we thought. What about Jur-E? Is there another side to him too?
To be fair, they didn't turn out to be completely different from what I thought. I thought they were both valid candidates. I just thought that there was a bet that they could have been there could have been better candidates. That being said, they just turned out to be even better candidates than I initially thought. Despite the fact that I thought they were good candidates to begin with. Alright, let's do this for the memes. Alright.
This is the Black Cliff Forge.
Nice.
Let's look around for clues.
We lived. I thought for sure that would be a pool right there. I guess they're not kidding when they say your fall damage is reduced. Worksite records. Nothing of note happened today. Nothing of note happened today. Payday. 3 new recruits joined. Can't believe people are willing to join us at a time like this. One of the newcomers is very skilled. He got made the team leader. Nothing happened today.
What's this? A diary?
From the back, it looks like a ledger, but it seems they also use it as a site log. We don't know who wrote it, but it's interesting, don't you think? These newcomers, who could have sent them?
Treasure hoarders,
You
Fatui,
think they're suspicious?
Yes. Look, it says right there, one of them's already been promoted to team leader. At this rate, by the time the Cheongshu Pool redevelopment plan is ready to roll, they'll be the technical backbone of the team. That'll give them the chance to take a lot of liberties. They can copy any secret texts or steal any treasure they find underground. Imagine if we didn't suspect anything. By the time Jur-E recommends the Blackcliff Forge for the excavation project, at most we would maybe do a fresh background check on the place. No red flags if all they did was change some key staff. And even if we decided to vet the staff individually, they'd have had more than enough time by then to come up with fake identities. That's the advantage of planning this far in advance. It was a clever move.
When you put it like that, it all makes sense. If we hadn't found this out, someone else would have stolen the treasure. So, who's really behind all this?
Those 3 people, probably.
That's a question for the newcomers. But let's start with that worker over there for now.
Excuse us. We want to ask you about the newcomers.
You want them to teach you or something? I gotta say, these newcomers are in tip-top shape. Fast learners, too. They're picking up all the skills unbelievably fast. My only complaint is that they're always going out drinking at night. But they never let us join them. I guess they just need some time to adjust. I'm sure we'll get to know each other over time.
This guy seems like he's angry.
They go out drinking. This area isn't exactly renowned for the nightlife. I'm guessing it's a long trip to the nearest tavern.
You got that right. They tell me they go all the way back to Liyue Harbor to drink at Wanmin Restaurant. It rained after work today, so they actually stuck around at the site for a while. But as soon as the rain stopped, they went out drinking again right away. Hey, you're only young once, right? I say, if they can hack it, let them at it.
Interesting. Let's go talk somewhere else.
Okay.
Looks like our hunch was on the Mora. These newcomers are very suspicious. Drinking in Liyue Harbor, huh? Some cover story. I'll wager they've been going to intelligence updates.
I'm more suspicious by the fact that they picked up the trade so quickly and that they're really good at it. Because you don't just get to start at a new workplace and immediately out-promote other people. Which makes me more suspicious about who's running this Blackcliff Forge place.
Good thing it rained today. It means they'll leave footprints. I doubt they'd give themselves away that easily, but let's follow them and try our luck.
Alright, follow the footprints, the footprints, the
Even
footprints.
that way! Hurry, we gotta catch up!
They never let them go with them, though. That is suspicious, now that I think about it.
Huh. These footprints are heading towards Liyue Harbor. Maybe we were wrong about them.
Just as I thought. They didn't go to Liyue Harbor. They went that way.
And then they went back towards Liyue Harbor. Oh, no, they went this way.
The footprints stop here. But, judging from the direction, I'm guessing their destination was that abandoned house.
Looks like it may have been a fight here, but it's too hard to say for certain. This is the work of a professional, but who? That's a fire that burned out. Something was burned here not long ago. Compacted mud. These stripes in the dirt, likely made by a bamboo mat. That means somebody slept here. That bamboo mat is nowhere to be seen now. I am trapped in here. Aha. They buried something. Find a fresh fruit pit and a pile of leaves. Seemed like someone was here recently. You can't find any more clues.
Looks like we were too late. This has gotta be where the newcomers rendezvous with whoever they're working for. But all the evidence has been destroyed. Look at these ashes. Someone was burning documents not long before we arrived.
Could there be anything left? Maybe the wind could have blown the fire out before everything was finished burning.
The odds of that are very slim. It's practically impossible. I've checked. All the paper's been burned. There's only ash left now.
Why don't we wait for them back at the Blackcliff Forge? They've got to go back there sooner or later.
We can't count on that. Clearly they were based here at one point, but it's mysteriously abandoned now. To me, that says that whoever's behind this has moved them somewhere else, to throw our investigation off course.
Which means Juri is probably the one that's leading them because he's poor and needs the money.
Darn! Guess this is where our trail runs cold.
Make no mistake, the purpose of our trip wasn't to find any solid evidence. We just need to figure out who's behind Jur-E. I smelled something peculiar the moment I came in. Those newcomers probably thought they'd be safe as long as they burned the letters. But what they failed to consider is that paper and ink from different regions produce different odors when they're burned.
Really now? That's a very oddly specific detail.
Really? Paimon can't smell anything. Do you smell anything?
I smell a very gentle fragrance.
There is a certain place with a freezing cold climate where there's nothing but ice as far as the eye can see. Some wealthy people there put floral fragrance in their ink as a way of injecting a little romance into their writing.
Really? Weird. That's a weird Schneznayan thing to do.
When that fragrant ink is burned, this is the exact odor that it leaves behind.
Schneznaya.
Exactly. The evidence will soon be blown away by the wind, so it's nothing we can arrest anyone with. But it's all I need. Now I know who we're dealing with. I can plan our next move.
Good for you.
Lady Yelan! Oh, thank goodness I finally found you. I thought I'd never see you again.
Oh, this must be the third guy.
Who are you?
Don't be alarmed. This is Upei. He's Wenyuan and Shanghua's colleague. I sent him to look into Jur-E's regular contacts. Since Jur-E likes fishing, Upei thought he might know some of the fishermen and sailors, so he took a boat out to sea to ask around. I left him a note at Yenshang Tea House telling him to look for me at Blackcliff Forge when he got back. If there'd been an ambush waiting for us there, it means we'd have had some backup. So, what did you find out at sea?
Forgive my incompetence. I'm afraid I've come up empty-handed. I asked all the fishermen multiple times, but none of them had any interactions with Jur-E before. Then the waves got so choppy I ended up falling overboard. Fortunately, someone managed to drag me out. When I got back, I heard that you'd gone to Blackcliff Forge and might need backup, so I went straight there as fast as I could. Didn't even stop to change my clothes.
Well, Uncle Tien said that Jur-E once bought a recipe from one of the fishermen. Did you hear anything about that at all?
What? That's news to me. No, that's not possible. It's absolutely not possible. Lady Yelan, I'm telling you, I spoke to every single fisherman out there, and none of them mentioned anything about a recipe.
Well, Juri has also traveled to other countries, which was mentioned, which means could be a recipe from a fisherman not from here.
Interesting. Then I wonder how that even more wonderful fish soup came about.
Fish soup? What fish soup?
Nothing. Our priority right now is to find a way to get our hands on some solid evidence. Well, any suggestions?
Send someone to tail them, catch them red-handed when they meet.
Not a bad idea. Upei, what do you think?
Honestly, I've already tried following Jur-E, but the guy's too cautious. Never meets with anyone suspicious.
Okay, so tailing's out.
No, we'll still need to tail him. But first, we need to do some groundwork.
Groundwork?
When you've worked in intelligence for a long time, you'll understand that no one can stay on high alert forever. Especially when he thinks he's about to win. Tomorrow morning, I'll announce his victory at Yuehai Pavilion. Take a guess what you think he'll do next. Be sure to arrive on time. You won't want to miss the show.
Yes, if we announce him the winner, he'll meet with his contact. Alright. Foregone conclusion. So we gotta go back to Yuhai Pavilion on the next day. Huh. We stopped time. I did not know you could do this. Woot woot. You can stop time while flying. I don't know why you'd ever need to be able to do this, but it's neat that you can.
It looks like we're all here. Well then, time for me to announce the results of the assessment process. I won't drone on about the importance of the Tianshu role. Suffice to say that Uncle Tien entrusted me with the monumentally important task of assessing the candidates. And now, it falls to me to give him a satisfactory answer.
All of us here know the score. Don't beat around the bush, just get on with it.
Qianwei has many pioneering ideas, but some of his plans are lacking in detail, and he easily gets into testy exchanges with other people. Mingbo is reliable, but not quite ambitious enough, and because of his personality, he struggles to win people over. In contrast, Zhi is evenly balanced across the board, and enjoys an excellent reputation in Liyue. After much consideration, I have decided to recommend Zhi to the Liyue Qixing.
What?
You, good, I don't like you. Personally, I just don't want to recommend you. I want the other guy.
Oh, congratulations.
Mingbo.
Thank you. Honestly, I'm a little surprised to hear my name being announced. In my estimation, all three of us are worthy candidates for the Tianshu position. As your competitor, I've become keenly aware of your great talents. Would either of you entertain the possibility of working with me in the future and taking on some of my workload?
I'll have to see. I'm in a bad mood. This is the last thing I want to be thinking about right now.
It's like I said earlier in the stream. If it were up to me, I would have just hired all three of them, and I would have dissolved the position and divided the workload amongst more positions. But that was what I said I would do.
I don't mind, as long as I can help.
Okay, well, that's all from me. Zhi, you'll have some preparation to do. It won't be long before you're informed of your official appointment. I hope you will work hard and make Uncle Tien proud.
I will live up to the Tianshu name. On this, you have my word. I should go. I need to pack my things, and then I think a celebratory meal is in order. Would anyone like to join me?
Count me out. I'm not in the mood for a celebration.
Zhi seems pretty relaxed now. This would be a good time to follow him.
Hey, Traveler, tell me something. What exactly does that guy have that I don't?
Oh boy.
If you can't answer that, I'm not accepting this result.
I, also wouldn't mind knowing.
Oh no, if we get stuck here, we won't be able to leave!
Follow him.
Yes, ma'am.
They're finally pursuing Queen Mingbo to leave.
We finally got rid of them.
Lady Yelan, Jury has gone towards Feiyun Slope.
Follow him, quickly.
So Jury really sided with the Fatui? But Uncle Tian thinks so highly of him. Why would he do this?
Money.
Difficult to say.
Debt.
But everything should become a lot clearer when we find him.
Oh, that's what the fucking TUI agents always say. You can't run from debt. I should have known. Which way is Feiyun Slope?
I'm sorry, Lady Yelan. We lost him. He's too good at this. We weren't able to keep following him without being seen.
How the heck did he manage to shake Yelan's subordinates? I guess Jury didn't let his guard down. Still as vigilant as ever.
No, Upe says he's much more relaxed than usual. Maybe it's just how he's wired. Perceptive enough to sense when he's being watched.
But how?
Don't blame yourselves. Let's not forget he was trained by Uncle Tian himself. Evading detection is not an unusual skill for him to have. If I'd asked you to tail Uncle Tian, you'd have ended up at a dead end too. It's fine. So, where did you lose him?
Shinue Kiosk. He only went in briefly. Upe and I were watching outside the whole time. A few moments later, a man dressed in a completely different outfit came out. Upe had a feeling that it was him, but we couldn't get close enough to check without blowing our cover. I figured that if we spooked him, it would undo what we've accomplished today so far. Another option would have been to arrest him there and then, but without any evidence, that would have been meaningless. So I stopped Upe, and I stayed here to wait for you while that meathead went to ask around in Shinue Kiosk.
Good work. The fish didn't take the bait, but that's okay. As long as he's still swimming around, we'll find a way to catch him eventually. The key is figuring out what he's trying to achieve. Let's go to Shinue Kiosk.
Yep, somebody must have saw what he bought in there. I'm getting hungry. It's going to be dinner time soon. Normally I eat dinner around 8:30, for those who are curious. Sometimes at 9:30.
Could you explain to me how that works? A guy like him comes in, changes his whole outfit right under your nose, and you don't even ask him about it?
Our customers are free to dress however they please. What grounds would I have to question him?
Okay, fair enough, but didn't you think it was just a little bit strange?
Well, maybe I did, but it still doesn't give me the right to stop him.
Enough. Let's tone this down a little. I'll make this quick. Just one question. What did he buy while he was here?
Oh, he didn't buy anything. He just picked up a bottle of liquor that he ordered ages ago.
A bottle of liquor?
Yes, a very strong kind. Fiery, with a rich flavor. Not something the average customer would order.
Fire water.
This gentleman ordered it in person from us a long time ago. He was only here today to pick it up.
Liquor and wineware.
Where to?
Shigu Antiques.
Shigu Antiques. It's where that fucking Fatui agent is that hung out that we ran into. When did we run it? Oh, that was during Singshu's quest line. Right. Book-loving swordsman.
Hey, Miss Linlong. Sorry to bother you. Zhi ordered a wanware set from you not long ago, right? We're friends of his. He's been telling us how impressed he is with the quality, considering how affordable it was. So we just had to come and take a look for ourselves.
Sure. Which model are you looking for?
We don't really know a whole lot about wineware. Let's just go with Zhi's choice. Would you be able to show us the one he bought?
Jur-E picked up his set not long ago. As a quality imitation of an antique wineware set, it has the look and feel of a luxury item. Just so you're aware, we don't have many of this model left in stock. And now that Mr. Jur-E has taken one, I'm afraid it may encourage the price to go up a little.
Don't worry, price shouldn't be an issue. I'm sure we can work something out. But I'm just a little hazy on one thing. Did Jur-E's wineware set include wine glasses, or...?
For this set, the wine glasses are sold separately. Minimum purchase is 1 glass, maximum is 4. Mr. Jur-E bought 2.
Okay. Thanks, Lin Long. Seems there's a little more to buying wineware than I first thought. We'll have to mull it over.
This is just flying right over my head because I don't buy wineware and I have no clue what they're talking about.
Well, don't take too long. We could sell out any day now. Alright, see you next time.
Wait a minute! What are those two doing here?
This is turning into a real headache.
That was Kama and Sumida that was standing right there. How did I not notice them? They stand out.
I'd just like to point out that we have the self-professed Grand Master of Fieldwork here to thank for being wholly incapable of tailing an ordinary civilian without being seen.
It's not like you did any better.
My specialty is information trading, okay? I don't have the physical agility. What's your excuse?
Fair point.
Yelan, so has the plan failed? Oh, if we can't figure out where Jerry went, there's not much we can do. But why was he buying liquor at Shinway Kiosk anyway? To celebrate?
We overheard part of that conversation earlier.
If so, it's no ordinary celebration.
What do you mean?
First of all, Jur-E isn't much of a drinker. On some level, he hates alcohol because of what it did to his father. If he was just looking to celebrate by himself, he wouldn't spend his meager savings on an expensive bottle of alcohol, let alone buy a pair of special wine glasses. No, this is a victory feast, held in honor of Jur-E's private sponsor. Whoever this person is clearly enjoys hard liquor and has a very high status, hence the need for expensive-looking wineware. Now, where might we find Fatui who match that description, I wonder?
Fatui officials. Should be either the Snezhnayan Embassy or the Northland Bank.
Have both locations surrounded. Take as many people as you need.
Lady Yelan, is it time for us to make our move? If so, you can count me in.
Get with the program, would you? This is a covert surveillance operation. Jur-E may be vigilant, but that doesn't mean the same is true for his drinking buddy. In which case, we don't need to change tactics. Just change who we're following.
Great idea! So we just need to find out who Juri bought that liquor for and follow them instead!
Not exactly an easy thing to do.
But Lady Yelan, if we get caught, this could become a major diplomatic incident.
I'm well aware, but don't you see? Jur-E is gambling everything on this. If we really want to catch him, we're going to have to accept a little risk ourselves. Stick to your orders, and make sure we're covering all other bases too. Anywhere else Jur-E might be going. I want eyes on those locations.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't worry, Lady Yelan. Jur-E may be a slippery character, but we'll keep a close watch on the movements of all Fatui officials.
I'll be waiting for you at the tea house. If I'm guessing correctly, Fatui officials are likely to take action at night. You should go and get ready. Then meet me at Yenshang Tea House.
Yeah, hang on. What are you guys doing here real quick? What a pretty bracelet. What a pretty vise. Goods from Liyue sure are pretty. Oh wait, there's these simplistic terminologies will simply not do for novelists like me. Perhaps I should purchase one of these ingeniously made porcelain trinkets and use it as a reference material for my next novel. Yes. That's what we'll write. The key to turnaround is was a vision concealed within a vase. That'd make it quite interesting indeed. What do you think, huh? Vision concealed within a vase. That happens in the manga. In the I believe towards the end. That's how Diluc received his vision. Lady Sumida, I don't really... I feel that any descriptions of this face would be well controlled. If you spend too much time on it, the foreshadowing will become quite apparent. But at the same time, mentioning it too little will make the development seem abrupt. You do have a point indeed. Let me write this down. Wait, no, let's do that somewhere else. Also, haven't I told you 1,000 times? You don't have to call me lady. But then again, having one pair of seemingly ordinary travelers call the other lady or lord isn't uncommon in the plot development either, is it? What was I doing? Oh, I gotta go to the tea house. Okay.
You'll have a blast.
I guess now that the Senkaku decree is over, we're just gonna start seeing people from Inazuma popping up everywhere.
Perfect timing. Wenyuan just sent word that the Fatui ambassador, Yusupov, just left the embassy alone. He's heading in the direction of Qingshu Pool.
Qingshu Pool? That's the place Jerry mentioned in his manifesto.
It looks like that's where they've arranged to meet. Sensible choice, I'll give them that. Qingshu Pool is always crawling with monsters. Most people wouldn't dream of going there. It's one place they won't need to worry about being seen.
Oh no, we gotta go get them!
Let's go. If my hunch is correct, we just might hit the jackpot this time.
Some might call it the ultimate gamble. Based on the timing that we're going, we'll probably be finished within the next 30 minutes. Alright, let's keep going, let's keep going. I'm losing my voice the longer this goes.
This is Qingshu Pool, full of ruins, crawling with monsters. Anyone with any sense steers well clear of this place. I've looked into the place before. There's a worker's entrance somewhere around here. Follow me. There's been some work done on this place in the past, but it's a bit of a labyrinth inside. I can't guarantee we'll be safe once we're underground. The workers left an emergency access route. If we can find it, this will be a much easier journey. Still, be ready to fight at any moment. Any resistance needs to be taken out quickly and quietly. We don't want to attract too much attention.
Don't worry, we're all professionals here. By the way, Yelan, where are your 3 little helpers at?
They have other things to take care of first. We couldn't afford to wait for them, but they'll join us later.
Sure thing. Qingshu Pool underground ruins. Let me guess. Water Geo? Water Geo. This will be the mandatory I get to use the 5-star unit in this quest mission.
Quietly now. Take it easy.
Steady as stone. Time to clean up.
Huh, that doesn't last as long as I thought it would.
Busted. Quietly now. Gutsy. Gotcha. Here comes the catch. As I expected, but this shouldn't be too much trouble. Take it easy.
I see that? That's gotta be the Fatui ambassador here to meet Ji. Looks like he went through that door. That must be the emergency access route, right? Come on, let's hurry.
Alright, let's do this. Lost right.
No.
With sword comes shadow.
Take it easy. Game's up. Fun's over.
Alright. Alright. The layout
Water's
changed.
gone down. Hey, look! Is that another way through?
I hope so. Because I'm fresh out of ideas if it's not. Plus right. Okay, need to find the viral.
Take it easy. Quietly now.
Huh.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
I feel like I have to move these somehow.
This is the construction workers' emergency access route, but it's closed tight. Trying to break through would be risky. Let's see if we can find another way.
Ooh, treasure.
Bet you can't keep up with me.
Okay, so we can go through here. There's plus right here.
I'll race you there.
Aha.
Fairy bunny.
Gotcha! Here comes the catch. Take it easy. Take it easy.
All right. And that's all the way through. And this one's gonna let the water flow. Ah, I see now.
The water's flowed into the groove, and now the statues have lit up. Okay, now we should be able to move the statues. Take it easy. Take it easy.
Move this here. This here. This one here. This one here. Which will let us move this one here. This one here. This one here. This one here, and this one here.
The door is open. Let's go.
Another way through.
We should be nearly at the bottom now. Let's wrap this up.
Cut to the chase.
As a good knight should.
escape spice.
Propagate!
Gotcha. Game's up. Time's over.
Ow.
Spring forth!
Yeah, Yelan seems fun. Definitely pulling for her when her banner comes up in a bit.
I can tell from the aroma that this is very fine liquor indeed. I'm impressed. Come on, bottoms up. After you, of course.
Oh, sorry. That went down the wrong way. I've never drunk anything this strong before. It'll take me some getting used to.
You'll get there. If you want to stay friends with us, you have to drink with us.
I'll do my best.
You're more of a lightweight than I thought. Already struggling after one glass? I thought you were made of sterner stuff. You certainly kept it together when you were poisoning your teacher's soup.
I had a feeling that the soup was being poisoned, and that's why he's been feeling less energized lately. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier in the stream, but I definitely was thinking it.
Come on, another round. Less talking, more drinking.
Sure. You didn't leave me much of a choice, though, did you? Just the mention of poisoning sends shivers down my spine. I'm more timid than you realize. Every time I poisoned him, I had to hide away at home for a few days because I was so scared of getting caught.
Look, I know it has not been easy for you, my friend. We appreciate all your hard work. But, I have to say, you really are quite a genius at poisoning people. I mean, the poison we brought from Snezhnaya is as strong as this wine, but you found a way to turn it into an imperceptible, slow-acting poison, and came up with the idea of delivering it through fish soup. What was it you said? Oh, yeah. You said the soup's fishy flavor neutralizes the pungency of the poison, and this process even makes the soup tastier as a result. How did you think of that?
It struck me one day when I was fishing. I'm lucky it did. Otherwise, I'm not sure I would have been able to fool Uncle Tien.
You have performed excellently. The Fatui will continue to provide the support you need to consolidate your position as Tien Shu. Of course, this is as long as you continue to do as we instruct. Aside from Qingshu Pool, we also have some other requests for you, which we will inform you of in due course.
Don't worry. Whatever tasks you have for me, I will perform them diligently.
Did you hear that? It was poison! That's why Uncle Tien hasn't been feeling well recently. It's all Jurye's doing. What a nasty guy! Seize him!
Hold on. Did you bring a camera? If not, you can use mine. This is quite a scene. We have to capture it for posterity.
Yep.
Excellent liquor. We've, seen no progress on the diplomatic front, and everyone has been eyeing up the treasure of Qingshu Pool. It's been a real headache for me. But soon, everything will be taken care of, and I can report back on a successful mission. Thank you, Juryi. I remember when I first saw you. I knew right away that you would make a good partner for us. Hey, do you still remember what I said to you?
How could I forget? You said a lowly commoner like me could never be seen as a serious candidate for the Tianshu, no matter how hard I work. The only way is for you to shine bright in the Tianshu's darkest moment. I think you were absolutely right.
Yes. Under normal circumstances, the gap between you and other people could only ever grow wider over time. Just look at your two competitors. Qianwei had wealth. Mingboa had reputation, but you had nothing.
He had skill.
You were just another nobody.
He had skill. He was actually the most qualified of the two, and that's the saddest part.
And that's why I decided to help you. You know, there's an old saying in the Fatui. Give a starving dog a bone, and it'll guard your home for the rest of its life.
I feel like I've heard that saying before.
Yes. I cannot thank you enough for your generous support.
You know, the best thing about you is that you do as you're told without complaining. Hey, keep up the good work, and I can assure you, you'll never have to worry about Mora again. Heck, when you're not in the company of the Fatui, you'll be able to throw your weight around as much as you want. How about that?
Uncle Gao said that Jur-E has low self-esteem. Seems he was right. He was worried that whatever advantage he might have now will diminish over time, so the Fatui persuaded him that he should act while he can. Do you have any more film in the camera?
Planning.
Then get ready to use it. Tonight's grand finale should be coming up any minute now. How well this goes for us depends on how Jur-E plays his hand.
Ooh, is there any more alcohol? Go on. Fill me up. I'm in a good mood today, and I'm gonna drink my fill. Make sure to get me home safely afterward.
There's only a little left. Here, I'll fill your glass. If you like it, I can bring you some more next time.
He's gonna poison them.
Ooh, this is the good stuff. It is great. Huh? What the?
Yep.
Jur-E, you poisoned my wine? But when?
You seem surprised, Mr. Yusupov.
How could you?
How could I not? I've sacrificed years of my life studying and reflecting to prepare myself for this position. And in the end, I even had to poison my own teacher. You really think I'd put myself through all that just to become your little puppet? I don't want to bow down to anyone ever again. And that includes you.
You imbecile. It's the Fatui who got you to where you are. Do you understand? If I disappear with no explanation, the embassy will come after you. They'll get to the bottom of this. Mark my words.
This is a dumb move.
Do you see the haystack in the corner? Underneath it is a pile of explosives. And next door in the dark room are the 3 undercover agents you sent to infiltrate the Black Cliff Forge. I'm gonna stay here till I see you slip into unconsciousness. Then I'm gonna set this on fire. Once the flames burn through the hay, they'll ignite the explosives, the ruins will collapse, and everything will be buried.
What do you hope to?
I took the liberty of leaving some evidence of your contact with the undercover agents at the Black Cliff Forge. It won't take long for people to join the dots. 2 missing person cases will become one as the truth gradually reveals itself. The Fatui planted undercover agents in the Black Cliff Forge to steal their signature ruin-grade explosives. Their plan was to blow through the solid floor tiles in the dead of night and seize the treasure of Qingshu Pool. But things didn't quite go to plan. Mistakes were made that led to the accidental deaths of the entire crew. Faced with the overwhelming evidence, the embassy won't investigate this any further. In fact, they'll be only too happy to blame it all on a rogue operation by you. It explains why you acted alone, while exonerating the rest of the embassy of any liability. Of course, none of that will have anything to do with me. When all of this comes to my attention, I'm afraid I'll have no choice but to cancel the Qingshu Pool redevelopment plan immediately. I guess then, I'll be Tianshu in my own right, with a clean record and well out of the Fatui's reach.
Huh. There's one thing that I think I can take away from that, which is they have to follow the plans that they proposed to the letter, which means that disqualifies them from the position, sadly.
Cherry, do you really think you're gonna get away with this? The Fatui has a record of everything. That includes the poison, all interactions between us, even my trip here tonight. After I die, they'll come looking, and they'll get to the bottom of this.
A record? Oh, you must mean the one in the hands of your second-in-command, Theophon?
How do you know about that?
Because when you contacted me, I also made contact with your associates. I have Theophon to thank for providing me with the poison I used on you today.
Wow, this guy got double-crossed by his own subordinates.
He'll help me tie up all the loose ends. After all, your untimely demise comes with a few perks for him. He has been eyeing your position for a long time now.
That traitor! Cherry, you...
This is like a fucking detective movie that's fucking playing out in front of me. Or a soap opera.
Relax. It's over. After tonight, everyone gets what they want. And anyone else in the know is either my accomplice or about to be taken out of the picture. Sweet dreams, Mr. Yusupov.
Foregone conclusion.
I did a little surveying on the way here and found that you'd left yourself 3 escape routes in case things went south. I have them all surrounded. If you're thinking of trying anything, save yourself the effort. The game's up. We were here the whole time and have pictures of everything. They came out pretty nicely. Want to see them?
The game's up? Forgive me, I'm not quite sure what you're referring to, Miss Yelan. I happened to discover a Fatui operation here, so I approached them on the pretext of joining forces and eventually brought them down from within. If it pleases you, Miss Yelan, I'd be only too happy to have you join me in investigating this matter.
He's got a point. Unless the fucking Yusupov sells him out here, which he probably will, there's really... The pictures we have don't really do much in terms of evidence.
This is how you want to play it, huh? Fine. You do you. All we need to do to convict you is establish that the poison in his system is the same as in Uncle Tien's.
Ooh, I didn't think of that. I'll give her that.
Nothing else you wanted to add? Let's leave it there then. Time to go.
One wrong move and it all comes crashing down. I should have been more careful. You followed him here, didn't you? I was so focused on keeping myself out of sight, I forgot he was a potential liability. Let's talk about this, Yelan. I gave you my word that I would live up to the Tianshu name, and that much I can still guarantee.
Your point being?
When I take office, I can guarantee that I will act in your best interests. In fact, all of you here tonight can expect very generous treatment in the future. I don't deny that I used underhanded methods to get here. But given my lowly origins, what other choice did I have?
You were the most qualified and were sure to win even without it.
You still don't get it, do you? Even now. What do you think?
Uncle Tian has always trusted you.
Exactly. Jur-E, clever people can always come up with a good excuse. But while you might be able to get other people to believe you, you'll never be able to deceive yourself. There's nothing wrong with wanting to win other people's respect, but when has Uncle Tian ever looked down on you? He was like a teacher and a father to you, but you chose to repay that by poisoning him. Whatever positive goal you may have started out with, you threw it away in that moment.
That's enough.
Of course. What makes this even crueler is that you managed to convince yourself there was no other way. Uncle Tien was always going to give you this opportunity, even if you'd done nothing at all. Out of everyone in the world, he is the one who trusts you the most. So much that he drank your fish soup without doubting you, not for 1 second.
That's enough. That's enough.
Life is like fishing.
Oh,
It cannot
cutscene.
be rushed. Whatever you do, impatience will accomplish nothing. I was just like you once, desperate to prove myself. Only later did I realize things do not always turn out the way you plan, but you have to keep calm to carry on. You're still young. Be patient, believe in yourself, and don't look outside yourself to prove your value. Where's Jury these days? It's been a long time since he last paid me a visit.
Maybe he's just busy.
Well, next time, if he doesn't bring a pot of piping hot fish soup, don't let him in.
Whatever you were thinking about, you'll have plenty of time to mull it over in prison. Oh, I almost forgot. If the Fatui find out what happened today, prison might not turn out to be the safest place for you. Trying to have friends on both sides, it has a way of turning everyone against you. But right now, I have an opportunity for you.
Huh?
What's going on?
Sorry, things are about to get extremely busy for me. Let's meet at Yenshang Tea House tomorrow morning.
What just happened?
I'll have someone remove the explosives. Then, there's someone I have to go and see.
Need our help with that?
No, it could be dangerous. You should leave this one to the professionals. Don't worry.
Be
As
careful.
long as they're willing to cooperate, this'll be a straightforward deal. Get some rest. See you tomorrow.
What the fuck just happened? I feel like there was some more dialogue or scene that was cut from that. I don't feel like we got the full picture there. The hell just happened? Also, does Yusupov live? I mean, I care a little. Lives are at stake. I need that. Oh my god. Gotta wait for the following day again. Following day. Foregone conclusions.
Someone needs assistance.
There is now no poison left in his system. But recovery from the damage already done will not happen overnight.
Dr. Baiju, is my father going to be...
You needn't worry too much. Keep taking the prescribed medicine every day, and a full recovery will take at most 2 to 3 years. It's good we caught it in time. A few days later, and the toxin would have built up in the internal organs. At that point, things would have been much more serious.
How did they successfully secure such a seldom-seen poison? It seems the Fatui are extremely resourceful.
The snake is creepy. It's still creepy.
Unfortunately for them, they were up against us.
Uncle Tian will be heading off now. Remember to get plenty of rest and avoid overexerting yourself while you're recovering.
Don't worry, I will. Thank you very much.
So we're gonna get the recipe for that poison fish soup or no?
Ah, you're here too? Thank you for all you've done to resolve this situation. And I'll have to make some tea in a moment. You simply have to try it.
Feeling any better?
Yes. The exhaustion seems to have gone. My mind is steadily getting clearer again.
Luckily, it looks like choosing the Tianshu's successor is suddenly not such a pressing issue after all.
Hey, Yelan!
My work is mostly wrapped up, so I thought I'd take a minute to check in here.
What happened to him?
The assessment process comes to an end here, Uncle Tian. In my opinion, Zhi is not suitable for the position. But Qianwei and Mingbo both have potential.
You have my gratitude. People can change their loyalties easily. I've always known this. But whenever it happens, it's still a dismal experience.
Is it just Paimon, or is Uncle Tian not that surprised?
Don't underestimate Uncle Tian. He wouldn't have appointed me as assessment officer if he hadn't had his doubts about Zhi. Normally, the Yue High Pavilion would be responsible for assessing the candidates. Isn't that right, Uncle Tian?
Yes, to be quite honest, I wanted to trust him unreservedly. But I have to be responsible with the position of Tianshu.
Like I said, the ultimate best outcome would have been to dissolve the position and just hire all three. It's a everybody wins scenario. Nobody loses.
When I first met Zhi, I wondered if he had approached me with a hidden agenda. So I secretly investigated him. I concluded that he had no ulterior motives whatsoever. He just saw me as an ordinary fishing friend. In the end, even he changed. But when did it start?
Probably 3 months ago. What if none of this ever happened?
I never had any plans to recommend him directly, but I always intended to give him the chance to compete on a level playing field. Family background and fame mean everything to many people, but I don't attach great importance to them. I had no reputation to speak of when I first became Tianshu. I relied on Ganyu's assistance for all manner of things. What I really admired about Zhi was his intelligence and resilience.
I have to admit, he's a smart guy, and very cautious. The intel suggests that the Fatui saw him as very low risk, but Zhi was still extremely careful with the poisoning. He chose that specific liquor from Xinyue Kiosk because the fiery flavor would mask the bitterness of the poison, and he chose to wait until the Fatui official was drunk and had his guard down before delivering it to him. He also installed a secret compartment in the wine pot he bought to hold the poison. As the amount of liquor went down, he'd shake the pot to release the poison from the compartment into the liquor.
Damn, this guy was like a Sherlock villain, for crying out loud.
Afterwards, we also found he had an antidote on him. Had the Fatui official grown suspicious, Zhi would have drunk the poisoned wine himself, and then found an opportunity to take the antidote shortly afterwards.
But that's still really dangerous.
Yes, had he drunk the poisonous wine, he still would have faced serious health consequences despite taking the antidote. He didn't hesitate to put himself in harm's way to achieve his goal.
How is Zhi now?
Well, I mean, he is sitting in a jail cell. Like Yanfei says, everyone who breaks the law has to pay the price. Still, he's cooperating. He didn't turn down my offer to strike a deal. I'll make sure there are plenty of guards around to keep him safe from anything the Fatui might be planning.
A deal? Does this have to do with what you said to him when you arrested him?
Yes, please, elaborate.
Yes, Zhi's not the one I'm interested in. If he was as far as this went, I'd have handed the case off to my subordinates as soon as I realized. But once the Fatui became involved, things got a whole lot more interesting. I thought I might have the chance to catch a big fish.
Well, did you?
Almost. Unfortunately, it slipped off the hook at the last second.
Uncle Tian? Yelan? What are you talking about? Paimon doesn't understand.
You're talking about the Fatui diplomat.
Jur-E colluded with the Fatui to try and secure the position of Tianshu. Or, to put it the other way around, the Fatui made an attempt to interfere in the Tianshu selection process. With Yusupov in our hands, and a statement from Jur-E, we could afford to continue with a diplomatic offensive. Also, we'd be able to gain control of Theophan, Yusupov's second-in-command. Then we'd have a pawn in the ranks of the Fatui. Pawns like this can be major assets. They open up all sorts of new options.
So this is your real plan.
Why else did you think I was investing so much time and effort into this case?
You were pretty much praying that it was the Fatui, though. There was no guarantees.
So, okay, well, did your plan succeed?
We got halfway. The first part went off without a hitch, and we passed all the information on to Lady Ningguang. But when we tried to make contact with Theophan, he was gone, along with all the evidence.
The Fatui must be spying on us. Otherwise, they'd never been able to respond so quickly.
I found out from other sources that the Harbinger Regrator got involved.
Regrator. Interesting.
The Fatui's main forces aren't concentrated here. Regrator was only treating this as a peripheral concern.
So, Regrator, that's the one that's voiced by Michael J. Tatum, if I remember correctly. Pantalone. In the 2.8 trailer.
It's a pity that Theophan got away. But knowing which Harbingers are still looking at Liyue is something. It gives me a starting point for my next mission.
I mean, he owns the Northland Bank, so... Duh?
I have to ask, Yelan. Do you have any desire to take over the position of Tianshu yourself? I remember you showed some interest a few days ago at Yenshang Tea House. In my estimation, you are more than competent.
Oh, that. I was obviously joking.
Yeah, it didn't seem serious.
I prefer my current life. There's danger and there's excitement. Although it'd still be a behind-the-scenes role. As Tianshu, I wouldn't have the chance to get involved in anything truly clandestine or face any real danger. All right, I'm done here. Time for me to go. I'm heading off again in a few days, and I still have to prepare.
Where are you off to this time?
As you might have guessed, it's for me to know and you to find out.
Of course.
But I'm sure if you keep going as you are, getting yourselves involved in other people's business all the time, you're sure to get caught up in another misadventure before too long.
You have no clue.
Maybe I'll see you the next time danger beckons. Until then, keep your wits about you. A lot of people are watching you for a lot of reasons.
I'll see you tomorrow at Lantern Right.
If you have any more questions, just ask Uncle Tian. After the recent turn of events, I'd say he owes you one, wouldn't you?
What's happening? Foregone conclusion. Epilogue time.
What would you like to know?
About Juri.
Something I've said to Juri, Qinwei, and Mingguo before is that while cunning and scheming are quite crucial, even more important than this is staying true to yourself.
There she is. It's Wang Sheng funeral parlor cat lady in the background.
Juri and Ambassador Yusupov each saw each other as a means to an end. They thought that if they could just outsmart their opponent, they would emerge the final victor. And yet, in the eyes of Yelan and Regrator, they are but pawns in a much bigger game. Scheming is an endless endeavor. If you can't cope with it, you're better off staying out of it. It gives you a much clearer view in any case. Everyone has self-interest, but you cannot let it be your master. So, don't fight over fleeting gains and losses. Rather, focus on the direction your heart is leading you, and keep moving forward. What would you like to know?
Yelan.
I first met Yelan when she was very young. Even back then, she was extremely tough, and she kept her cards close to her chest. An old friend of mine once privately commented to me that Yelan is always smiling, but never with her eyes. She is a very dangerous person. Something of an exaggeration in my view. At least, I know she would never hurt the people she trusts.
The real question is, who does she trust, and does she trust people?
What would you like to know?
Regrator.
Regrator is the 9th of the Fatui Harbingers, though likely the first among them where wealth is concerned. However, his wealth is not a mere question of how much more he has to his name. He has a very unique understanding of wealth, and what he's planning may very well shake the world to its core. Beyond that, I don't have a lot of information about him. If you need to know more in the future, you can ask Ning Guang.
I have a feeling that Regrator is going to be very important when we finally start to address the fact that Mora isn't being minted anymore. Because the guy who has the most money hoarded is definitely going to have some huge influences over how inflation or deflation works.
What would you like to know? As Yelan says, now that I'm on the mend, I should have another few years' worth of work in me. During this time, I plan to gradually hand over my duties while mentoring some new candidates. That reminds me. Chen Wei and Ming Bo are still waiting downstairs. I must go and have a chat with them shortly.
Well, the old man is okay. Everything's good in my eyes. Well, there's more that I would like to do, but for the most part, it can be done off stream. I'll see you guys probably this time tomorrow, 6 hours in the past, where I'll probably be doing the Lantern Rite. If you're watching this on YouTube, hi. I hope you've enjoyed everything so far. See you guys in the next video. See you guys in the next stream. And, well, I guess we'll also... Exquisite Night of Chimes. What is this? Tales Behind the Fan. Who?
Leave it to me. All of it. Whatever it is.
We'll have a full stream dedicated to these
exactly
weird
is
side
it?
quests.
I didn't quite catch your quest.
But yeah, see you guys in another one. Maybe we won't get to Lantern Rite tomorrow. But I promise we'll get to it this week. Ooh. Bye-bye.
Whenever you need me, I'll be there.